Why does it look like you came back from war? My beard was a little more scruffy last week when I came back from New Zealand, but I just haven't shaved in like 2 days. Yeah, this is what happens when I don't shave for 2 days. So when you see Kuma without a beard, that's because he shaved that morning. You may find this hard to believe, but I grow facial hair. Alright, let's do this. This is my favorite part of NieR Automata. It's this is just win on so many levels. I kind of expected something else to be shown, but okay. Maybe the animators feared Romeo and Juliet causing a copyright strike. Apparently, they are going to be selling a life-size 2B figure. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but someone will buy it. A lot of people will buy it. I mean, I don't typically judge, but I'm judging. You know, I had this conversation with Hutchon, and neither of us feared getting COVID because of the health risks. I mean, we have like 99.98% chance of surviving in our age bracket. And I would like to consider myself at least of average fitness. So, not worried about that. But what we were worried about is that some people lose their sense of taste and smell. And it can be anywhere from like a month to years, possibly. And neither of us would want to lose our sense of taste and smell because we love food. And if we lost our ability to taste and smell, like half of our life would just be destroyed. I thought about it for a moment and thought, it'd be super easy to diet because everything would taste like shit. But then all the joy and happiness that comes from eating has just disappeared. So what is the point of living? And it's kind of funny that these types of conversations and ideas corresponds so well to the type of conversations that you have in NieR Replicant and NieR Automata, because it's this whole thing of androids and being alive, and if your body's destroyed, you just have another body, and then comes the big question: what is your purpose? And then also, what happens once your purpose is fulfilled? Is there any meaning left to your existence? You know, so it's a very it's a very good story. It's a very, not just from storytelling, but also the philosophical aspect and the discussions that you have in the world of NieR and NieR Automata. And a lot of people have now been watching the LP, and I saw comments in Discord in the NieR Automata thread, as well as comments on YouTube. And I would really actually like to rewatch my playthrough, because I was 100% blind. And so, like, you know, and it's just, oh god, you know, the more you see it, the more you appreciate it. It's that type of game. It's really well thought through. But what is pissing me off, and a lot of you may not notice it, you see this pillar? You see this little indent here? It's chipped. It's not perfectly symmetrical anymore. I sometimes feel like Death the Kid, but, you know. This part wasn't in the game. I love the irony of them saying that the machines are simply mimicking humans by speaking, yet these androids are communicating by speaking as opposed to just transmitting data. I mean, I guess speaking would be a lot less risky because the transmission of data could also transmit viruses and other things, but you get my point. You humanoid looking androids. I love how absolute this point of view is. A lot of the machines are just chilling. They're not even fighting, and they're like looking at flowers all day. So they're in no way engaging. But it's like, no, peace was never an option. They must all die. And then it's like, but this is just keeping this ongoing war ongoing. Because these machines that are not fighting are just going to continue creating more machines to fight because they're forced to fight. So why are we fighting as opposed to not fighting? Because we have to win. But they're not fighting. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Calm down, Hitler. You know, 9S is playing the genocide route by default. He's gonna have a bad time. Oh god, it's flowers! You know what you will find funny? A lot of humans are mimicking animals and other creatures now. They consider it therapeutic. What does that tell you? I have to wonder, who's creating all the outfits for all these androids? There must be a tailor on board. And then, the bigger question is, who decided on the outfits for all the androids? That's an even bigger question, because God knows it's not armor or anything, it's just aesthetic and impractical. Like, what is the point of the whole maid outfit looking thing for the females, and the schoolboy looking thing for the males? You know, there's so many more useful designs out there, but then they're just like, no, we want this. But why? Because it has to be done. Glory to mankind. It's like, what does this say about mankind? Why is the female dressed like a maid? Does that mean she's a servant? Is that what you're saying? That's very sexist of you. And are you telling me that all the guys are like schoolboys because they're immature? Well, that's very... What's the opposite of sexist? It's also sexist. But you can't be sexist towards a guy. That's not how sexism works. And the heels. You can't tell me that shit. Like, look at that little gap with the... Imagine she actually steps in that gap and breaks the heel. Well then. Like, this design is not very practical, you have to admit. What if she goes to one of the factories where they don't have like a floor and it's just those pieces of metal grates with like holes in them and your heel gets stuck in the hole and breaks off? What are you gonna do then? Exactly. Someone didn't think this through. It's like that time that woman in Resident Evil went to rural Spain wearing a red silk dress and heels. I mean, she didn't exactly blend in with the locals. I think they've dressed like that because that's what Yoko Taro likes. We know. 2B was designed after his perfect woman. I feel sorry for his wife, but like, you get my point. We all know Yoko Taro. Yoko Taro went on Twitter and it was like, I heard many of you are posting lewd photos of my characters online. I humbly request that you put them in a zip folder and send it to me. And people literally did it. And then he's like, thank you. That's Yoko Taro, ladies and gentlemen. Whereas other video game companies are, no! Do not do that to our game characters! God forbid some people might see this online and actually buy the game because they saw it. You know? Because I'm judging, but you have to look at this from a marketing standpoint. It's free advertisement. There's like almost no downside. Almost. Except that one time Tifa from Final Fantasy appeared in Italian Parliament. How did that even happen? Context for the story. Italian Parliament was like meeting, and then someone, for some reason, streamed, you know, porn of Tifa. And then like multiple members of Parliament were like, oh, and then there was this one old lady that was like, And then Tifa officially became the representative of Italy. And Super Mario now became unemployed. Because obviously Pikachu stole his mascot position at Nintendo. And the only thing he had going for him was that he was Italian. And now that Tifa's the representative for Italy, well, you know, he's fucked. Poor Mario, man. But then, when you really think about it, his first appearance was in Super Mario, like, Donkey Kong. You know, that old 2D Atari game where this monkey throws barrels at you, and you as Super Mario have to, you know, get to the top and jump on the monkey. But what you don't realize was that there was a baby monkey in a cage. The insinuation being that Mario stole a baby gorilla from the gorilla that was actually mad at him. So Mario is a monster. Yeah. Think about that for a minute. Mario's the bad guy. And when you really start thinking about it, Bowser, King Koopa, is actually beloved by his people. Meanwhile, Mario is going around beating him up. For who? Princess Toadstool. What are the toads? Mushrooms on people's heads. Yes, Toad is not the human. It is the mushroom on the human head. Therefore, Princess Peach is zombifying humans with mushrooms and getting a simp to fight her battles for her. So Mario is not only a simp and a bad guy, but he's enabling a very dangerous person to overthrow Bowser, who is beloved by the Koopas. So when you play Mario, you're actually playing as the bad guys. Think about that for a minute. Oh, who would have thought? Two people fighting a war isn't enough. It's good to see that the androids are far superior than humans. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed a corporate meeting between middle management and upper management. Middle management is basically like upper management, we're getting fucked here. And upper management's like, we don't care. And middle management is like, but people are going to lose their jobs and the company's going to go under. And upper management is like, well, we better have record profits. And middle management is like, well, the only way we can have profits is by firing people. And upper management is like, well, do it. And then middle management is like, but then we'll be fucked next quarter because we'll have no workers. And then upper management is like, well, that's not my problem, is it? Ladies and gentlemen, corporate. Did anyone notice that she does like a Masonic salute? That's basically a Masonic salute. Well, half of a Masonic. Okay. Maybe she's not standing properly, but she does half of a Masonic salute. Yoha are a bunch of Freemasons. They say these buildings will last for thousands of years. I'm telling you that is a lie. Kuma, you said in your playthrough the buildings would collapse. If you watch me rewatching Final Fantasy VII Remake, you'll notice that I make a lot of the same comments a second or two before I make the exact same comment in the playthrough, despite it being 2 years apart. That's how you know it's a genuine reaction. Thinking the same thing. I remember these sewers, but why you... Oh no, these sewers go in one direction and the other. Okay. No, 2B, it's supposed to be running through the water and getting wet. That's what everyone does. Why is she strutting when she walks? What the hell? She's walking so awkwardly. She's like... No one does that. Yeah, sorry, I missed that part. Ichiban ramen. Remember, 2B, ladies first. Here's another thing, climbing stairs. Yeah, so great for high heels. Alright, you have to admit, the first time you find the amusement park in the game, it is magical. But God knows this place would not survive thousands of years without humans. Let alone decades. Play the music. No, but you haven't even seen Romeo's and Juliet's yet. No! That's like the best part of the whole game. No! Come on, it would have only taken 2 minutes. Come on! Oh! Okay, we'll watch it at the end. I'll find it on YouTube. I think I exported it as a separate video. Come on, Romeo's and Juliet's. Is he gonna do it? Oh, I'm sorry, but you can't beat Romeo and Juliet's. They should have just left it, and then after they finished Romeo and Juliet's, then done whatever her name is, because like this substitution is like, you know. But then again, copyright, because it ruins everything beautiful. Simone, I think she's called. Does she even have a gender? Well, she identifies as the... fuck it. Let's not get into that. Not now. Please. trying to enjoy something. It was at this moment you realized that this game is Elden Ring. I don't think he realizes that you put a barrier so they can't retreat. What kind of scanner are you? Boo, 2B! I mean 9S. Boo, bad scanner. I have to admit, I like 2B. He's like, oh, it doesn't work. The pod is like, you can't get out. And 2B's like, watch me. Ah! I like the cut of her jib. Oh, so you don't like it when it happens to you. Congratulations, 9S. You are literally in the mind of a teenage girl going through a identity crisis who was just called ugly by her high school crush. Have fun with that! You know, the unsung heroes of this anime are the damn pods. Okay, you have to admit, they did this really, really well. Adding in elements that are simply not in the game, but help bring in elements that you get from playing this multiple times on multiple routes, shoving it in just to make it good in a fight, but still having all the story. Good shit. Granted, most people won't actually understand the significance of it until after they finish NieR Automata and then watch it the second time. But that just goes to show how well it's done. I can still see you, Hutchin. You're like that scary lady from that Japanese movie with the hair that comes out of the TV. Hutchin was like trying to sneak through. She was like, grab my USB. But very well done. I like it. I like it. NieR Automata is adapting this amazingly well. That's some bullshit balance. Now she's just flexing. Not only can I run, but I can balance on this. In heels. See what I mean? She's just flexing. Oh. Oh shit. This wasn't in the game. Even she's like, holy shit. Even she's like, fuck, that's cold-blooded. It's like, I know I killed the mommy, but the mommy was fighting back. You killed the children. And stepped on the flowers. 9S is going genocide route. What the fuck were you? Playing my Walking Dead playthrough? Don't hesitate? What? It's like 9S hacked into my save data from The Walking Dead, and everything I told AJ. Never hesitate. Show no mercy. And it's just like, got it. Bam! I'm like, I didn't mean like that. We've created a monster. But to be fair, you guys remember when I was playing, I played it in typical MMO fashion. You kill every single mob on the way to your next mission, and you kill literally everything in your path. And you guys were saying that I'm wasting too much time doing that. I'm like, no, peak optimization. And then I was stacking XP chips. And then we basically became God. Nothing could kill us. We could literally just walk, auto fire, and kill bosses. We killed everything and anything. And at that time, it was just fun and games, right? So this perfectly encompasses that. Who gives a shit? It's a mob, right? Hack and slash, XP points, get some items. Hack and slash, XP points, get some items, right? And that perfectly encompasses it. It's begging. It cares. We don't. Hack and slash. Get some points, get some guild, get some money, get some XP, you know? This is done really well. On the second, this anime, 100%, for people that are just watching the anime, it will have rewatch value. And I reckon after they watch it the second time, they'll end up playing it. They'll end up playing it, because it's going to be really good. It's really well done. I'm just bravoing. And I'm trying not to say anything spoilery, but I hope you guys have actually played the game. We will now execute the task of introducing multiple endings from the... Yeah. We are the 13th satellite mobile base. Friday, 13th. Oh god. Wait, no one blew up. Some Yoha units abandoned their mission, the operation failed, and every android met the... Oh, it was this ending. You basically tell them not to do the work. Mate, I would like Replicant to get an anime, but on the condition that Grimoire NieR gets either an anime... You done? Thought so. The Grimoire NieR gets some sort of adaptation, because I know most people have skipped it, but I cannot stress enough. It is possibly better than the game in some aspects. Once you read that, you cannot look at the game the same way. It adds such a dark layer to the game. It's fucked. That's the only way I can describe it. It is absolutely fucked. I'm in the process of editing it right now for the LP, and I'm not having fun. Because just looking at the titles, I just go... It is dark. The drama CDs are pretty bad, I will admit. But the ones from Grimoire NieR that you actually have to read... Ooh. They stick with you. They stick with you. So, I love this franchise. I really, really do. I hope that this anime explodes. I hope that people start buying the games. I know the sales are really up. The Square Enix, like, revenue results and stuff that they put out, the game sales are going through the roof. I hope that they greenlight something like Drakengard 3. That would definitely get a lot of buys. Like, just the way they can market Zero. I haven't played it, but I've watched the video from Clems. And just the way they could market her, people would buy it. And then Square Enix would have enough money to actually start remaking the other games in some capacity. But they will definitely be able to sell Drakengard 3. You can't do Drakengard 1 and 2 without 3 selling first. I know people are going to be like, but you got to do 1, 2, and 3. If they do 1, it's probably going to bomb. It's not similar enough to NieR and NieR Automata. It needs to be similar. And Drakengard 3 can sell it. Drakengard 1 and 2, not really. That's the thing. You need to have that selling point. And if they can land that plane, it's just going to take off. Because then you're going to be able to get Drakengard 1 and 2. Well, 2 was kind of done without Yoko Taro. Let's not go there. But you're going to get that remake with a budget, which the games originally didn't have when they were created. You can just lock Yoko Taro in the basement for a few months and he'll come up with something. Just keep feeding him, right? He'll be fine. And you're going to get a really, really good remake, which is what the series needs. 3 needs a remake because of the FPS issues that it had on PlayStation 3. So I'm not even going to buy it for those issues. So if it gets a remake, it's just going to explode. It's going to sell off the shelves. Square Enix is going to be happy from a corporate point of view. It's going to greenlight another project to do other things. NieR Replicant probably is going to end up getting an anime. Because face it, they create this anime. The anime itself doesn't make the money. But they can take a look at the sales around the time the anime was released. It increases, it justifies creating the anime. It means it justifies creating an anime for NieR Replicant. That increases the sales of NieR Replicant, which are probably also going to increase from the sales of people playing NieR Automata if they like it, which they probably will. Which, you know what I mean? There's like a follow-through effect. And that just sort of means Yoko Taro projects get greenlit, which is really what you want. The real shame is that they keep doing all these live action plays in Japan, and the first few are just simply unavailable with English subtitles. And the real kicker is that they showcase elements of the story that happened before NieR Automata. They're considered canon, but you can only sort of get them on DVDs that were for sale at that time, and they never had English subtitles and all these things. And they're very interesting stories, and I really enjoyed every side story the NieR Replicant and NieR Automata had. So it's a real shame that a lot of these little gems, these little diamonds, are just buried and inaccessible to a broader audience simply because they were created at a time where the series wasn't as popular as it is now. So I'm really hopeful that these type of things will resurface because there's a much stronger Western audience now than there was originally. So, you know, fingers crossed. Like, God can only hope that, you know, because clearly someone at Square Enix likes Yoko Taro. They greenlit NieR Automata after Drakengard 3, which, according to how their sales were going, wasn't a massive success. Like, it did well, but it didn't explode. NieR Automata is what exploded. So clearly the fact that they greenlit NieR Automata and threw a bunch of money at it means they believed in it. And now it's actually bearing fruit. So God can only hope they keep believing in it, you know? So, And Square Enix is kind of a hard hitter right now because they're doing the remakes of Final Fantasy VII, which, surprise, surprise, is selling really well, even amongst people that are pretty much new to the Final Fantasy franchise. Like, I'm enjoying it, and I never played the original, right? So, like, they've got the money for it. The question is whether or not it's on their list of priorities, because you can only chase so many rabbits at once. So, dude, I'm just like, it is a good time to be a NieR fan. Like, it really is. It really is. And that's what I really, really like. And I'm reading all the comments in the chat. I really am. I'm reading it right now. And so it's a really, really good time. And for people to be hopping on the train, it's also a good time to hop on the train because it's current, you know? It's accessible because the games are on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. So it's not like you can't get the games. You can now get NieR Automata on the Switch. Again, means it's accessible. I'm not going to say you can get the PC version because I heard it has a lot of issues. But like, again, it's easily accessible. It's easy for people to get in. So it's current. It's current generation. So you can actually play it. It's a really good time. It really is. And it goes to show that you can actually do a remake and make money of it, which is what they did with Replicant. So, like, I am honestly at this point expecting Square Enix to basically drop a 60-second trailer. Just 60 seconds. Nothing crazy. 60 seconds with a few little glimpses of a dragon, a few little glimpses of a white-haired girl, a few little glimpses of a literal splatter of blood going everywhere, and then just, you know, from the creator of NieR Automata and NieR Replicant, you know, Drakengard 3. Coming 2024, 2025. Something like that. And then just building off the hype of NieR Automata and NieR Replicant. And I think that is their way to market it. Basically, piggyback off NieR Automata and NieR Replicant. Because a lot of people are going to just look and see Drakengard. And they won't understand the series. They're going to be like, what does this have to do with anything? And you can't just tell them, oh, trust me on this. You kind of got to be like, look, NieR Automata and NieR Replicant is a very far off removed sequel of Drakengard 3. You have to basically sell it that way. You can't say it's different. You have to basically sell it as NieR Automata, NieR Replicant are one of the endings. You could sell it as one of the endings of Drakengard 3. And then people are going to be like, oh, now I'm interested. But if you try to sell it as just Drakengard, I don't think it's going to do as well. But, you know, what would I know about marketing? I just studied it and worked in marketing in a company. But, yeah. So, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Square Enix definitely has the money for it. And they've definitely been pumping out a lot of really big projects. And I don't actually know what Yoko Taro is doing right now. Like, I get he would be involved in the anime. But he wouldn't be so heavily involved that he wouldn't have any capacity whatsoever to, you know, start doing a little bit on the side, right? So fingers crossed he's actually working on something. Because God knows that man needs to be kept busy, otherwise he's just going to run amok. So, I mean, he's a really cool guy. I like him as a person. So, yeah, just got to keep the man busy. And just, I still love the fact that he didn't know that NieR Automata was greenlit. There was basically just a Square Enix, you know, panel, and it was like an announcement. And he was pretty much told just to like sit next to this person. And it was like, okay, I'll do it. And then they're like, oh, by the way, NieR Automata is in the works. And Yoko Taro's just like, what? Like, they didn't even, like, Yoko Taro pitched it, right? But they didn't tell him that it got approved. And so he's basically just sitting there on the table, and they're basically like, yeah, it's in the works. And Yoko Taro's just like, what? I'm kind of half expecting them to do something similar. Just basically approve it, and then just be like, here you go. And he's going to be like, you didn't tell me about this. And he's like, do you want it done right, or do you want someone else to do it? And he'll basically be like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. So, you know, it'll be really good. Good shit. Yoko Taro follows you on Twitter. Yeah, he follows me too. He's a really chill guy. I like him. He actually does his own tweets and everything. I really like him. Have you heard about Cloud Stride's Japanese VA getting fired for infidelity with the voice actress of Final Fantasy VII? Apparently it was with Tifa and Aerith's VA. So he got fired for cheating on his wife with one of the other voice actresses of the game. What were people mad at him for? The fact that he cheated on his wife? Or the fact that he slept with one girl but not the other? So what are people actually mad about? And a few minutes later, Yoko Taro was asking his team to sculpt the perfect butt for 2B. Well, the fact that he got the money to do it is the funny part. Like, the amount of polygons in 2B's ass are the most polygons in any model ever on any gaming platform. Like, it holds the Guinness Book of Records. I make the joke that 20% of the game's budget went into her butt, but it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. So let's see how this goes. Yoko Taro's having a good year, that's all I'm saying.
Hey, did I hand you a shrinking potion by accident? I could have sworn that was the gender swapping one.
Don't be hating. She's fun size, that's all. She doesn't even have to get on her knees to blow.
You want to add anything to that conversation?
Nope, I'm good. In fact, I think your new size makes you an even more formidable and stealthy ninja.